Hello, my name is Victor Zenteno. I've been creating a series of videos with regards to Revit, in particular Revit MEP, the plumbing discipline, which is my background. I've been doing engineering and plumbing design for several years and started using Revit several years ago specifically for plumbing. I had created my first video of this series, and several comments came back saying that the sound was very poor, and so I decided to re-record that video. So this is what that is. I finally got a decent microphone that I can use to be able to create this video again. And I'm sorry I haven't had a chance to upload anything lately. I've had a couple of issues with my laptop. First, the hard drives died on me, which I had to replace. Thankfully, the machine is still working, so I can keep doing these videos. And recently, I have moved as well from living arrangement, so I haven't had a chance really to put some effort into creating my this video or any new videos. I know many of you have liked the videos that I've been doing. I'm gonna keep trying to do the other series. On series 5 I have already something in mind to continue the design that I did on video 4. So this one will be a revision to video number 1, which is how do you start a plumbing design. So with that said, here we have our Autodesk Revit 2017. This will be based on this series of videos because it has the latest information. I know 2017.1 has come out. I haven't gotten a chance to update that yet. But to start with, we'll start with the basic things that we mentioned before. We'll start with the project template. Okay, so from there, there are several things to keep in mind, and how do you start your plumbing design. So just as a general idea, we have our properties, we have our project browser here, and one of the first things that we will have to do is we need to load first all of our content. Okay, so the first step that we mentioned on the previous video was load our content. So the way you do that is you go to your insert tab, go to your load families, and one important thing with regards to this is, depending on the type of system that you are working on, you will have Imperial. If you've installed the metric or you work on metric system, it will be right underneath this one. This was Imperial details and libraries. So you can go to Imperial library. Since we're doing plumbing, we'll have to go to piping. You would think it would be plumbing, but what we need in particular for the pipes and fittings, it'll be found under the pipe. That's the way they've organized it. And under here, we have to go one further for fittings. We're gonna be working on PVC, Schedule 40 fittings, socket type, and we will load first this one. So all you have to do is just click somewhere here, drag, release, and there we go, sorry. It should show up. If it doesn't show up down on the bottom, that means they haven't been selected properly. But once they fill up right here in the file name, all of those files will be loaded. So you loaded first those. Once that it's loaded, you go back to the same library, pipe, fittings, PVC, schedule 40, socket type, DWG, and you will load everything here. So all you have to select the top one and the bottom one, shift, then click the bottom one and press open. And that should load all of the fittings that you need. Now this will take a little time. So now we have all of our fittings there. And how do we know we have them? Well, all you have to go under your project browser. Let's put this one to this side. There you go. So we have both on both sides. And you go to families, and under pipe fittings right here, you will see everything that you've loaded. So that's how you know you have everything there. Okay, now with that loaded, we'll have to set up one other thing. We have our piping fittings properly loaded, which is good. Now we have two other things, or two other category of families that we have to work with. One of them is the pipe systems and the pipes themselves, or pipe types they call them. So piping systems first. As you can see, they're pretty descriptive. Domestic cold water, hot water, fire protection, hydraulic piping, return and supply. This is more for like chilled water pipes, supply and return. And as you see, there's a sanitary and a venting. These are the typical standard ones. The ones that I would typically add on to this list, it would be sanitary. Besides this one, I would duplicate this one and create a storm, condensate, and duplicate the hot and make it hot water return for hot water return systems, and probably duplicate the water also to use the same somewhat properties for gas. And I think that's all it would be for this particular system. Now, the one part that we do want to work on, this will just leave the standards systems there for right now. The one we want to work is create a new pipe type. And we'll just right click on the standard one and do duplicate. You can right click on the new duplicated pipe type and do a rename, or you can press the F2 and it will automatically allow you to delete or change the name of this. So you can name it PVC. And here's what we will go and change the properties of this. As you saw, I did a right click on the PVC type properties, and from all of this right here, routing preferences, that's what you want to go. And you can see right here what it is that we're going to be using. Pipe type segment, right now it was set to copper, but what we want is polyvinyl chloride rigid, schedule 40. And then we start picking what type of elbows and fittings that we want to use as a standard. Okay, so we have, since we loaded a lot of those, when all of the fittings on the pipe standard library, you will notice there's different kinds. Keep in mind, if you're setting up a pipe type for venting, you will see specific pipe fittings for vent, and they'll be labeled vent. Now for what we want, we have several 90s or elbows. There's the long sweep, closed bend reducing, elbow PVC schedule 40, And probably what we'll use this one. Okay, so now we'll have to specify each fitting. Under the elbow we'll do the bend schedule 40. Under the T connection we'll do Y combination with 8th bend, and I'll show you what that is once we start modeling. Under the cross I'm also going to use the double Y combination with 8th bend schedule 40. Transition will make a reducer PVC. Union will do a coupling DWG, and under the cap we'll use a cap DWG standard. One quick thing with regards to this is that you will notice that the first one is showing the minimum size and the maximum size. We usually work at the PVC is 1.25 depending on the systems that we're using, and can go up to 16. Right now we only have 12, and also we can make it applicable to certain specific fittings here. Now but in this case for elbows and down we're telling them to use this one for all sizes. We could for example on this, okay, now with this set up, all our elbows, fittings, anything that we need to do, and we're specifically saying that we'll use for all bends and all junctions and all of this by this feature here, all this kind of fitting. So just press OK, and now let's draw something to see what we've done. And we'll go to Systems tab up here. We'll do a pipe. We don't have to save this project right now. Now we're going to do two samples like we did in the previous video. We'll draw something with the standard pipe. We'll change the display to fine. We will not apply any slope at this point, just as a sample of what we can draw. So there, and there. Now one quick little tip, I typically like to put this guys below the ribbon because for some reason on some systems it tends to disappear out of there. So I like to have it there. And the other reason is because one of the main tools that I use is this one right here, thin lines. If you press on it, you notice that it goes from very dark to very thin. And we'll talk about that on a later video, how will that help. So we see the standard piping. Now let's do a PVC piping. We're going to do the same path. There, and you can see the differences. You see the different fittings between a standard fitting and a PVC fitting. Now when we do connections, one of the features that Revit has is that you can inherit elevation and inherit size. You can enable that so that when you connect any pipe to another one, it will automatically inherit whatever fitting information you're doing. And you see it took everything from the other one. Now on the fittings that we chose, I said the Y with 1/8 bend, that's basically what it is. On the last video, or rather in the previous video, we did the same thing here. See, it automatically disables this. but you can do this like that. And we did the double Y with an 8th bend, and we can do that. And here we changed the elevation and we applied it. And so on. We can do that for any of the other ones as well. And if you notice, it takes in the size and the type of pipe. So the other way that I did show in the video too, that you can do it without having to select the inherit and elevations, is you click on the pipe and you press the tab key, and that basically does the same thing. That way you don't have to come back to the buttons here, and it will automatically do the fittings that you need to do, and it will inherit the elevation. What happens if you don't do that? Well, you'll see right here. You can do that. When you're sloped, it will create something weird looking. Because we're doing on a flat piping, it does not create the errors that you would typically see. So now we go to our default 3D view. By default, the first 3D view is shown on a very low detail level. So for that, we either do fine, as you can see. You can even change the resolution of it to realistic, and you can see the different types. And when you press your scroll wheel and press the shift key, you will see that you can rotate anything. Now when you're selecting an object and do the same shift and wheel mouse, it will use that as a orbit point. If I select this one, you'll notice it will do that around that, and if I select this guy here, it's going to rotate around that. So these are some of the basic things that you would set up on a standard plumbing drawing. Now on a later on video, I'm explaining some of the things that needed to be looked into, because I just went with the basic configuration, basic whatever floor level I was put into. In this case, if I close this one and cancel it, I was drawing on the mechanical level of floor plan, and that is a major difference from what I needed to do. And on one of my previous videos, I explained what happened and how you can actually draw on the right one. But for general purposes of what I was trying to show you guys, this is the basic setup. I'm gonna save this drawing, and as soon as I post this one online as well, I will post this file so you guys can use it as a to look at and dissect it. And well, thank you very much for looking at this video. Thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe for any future videos, and comments below if you want to see something or you